B. Taylor, you're talking about the way your grandmother instilled that in you. There's little boys in the house. They're hearing that growing up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So as women are instilling this in other women and little boys are overhearing it, is that same value system being instilled in them as they grow up?
It is.
And were you attracting older men because they've unlearned that? They've appreciated beauty in a different way? Like I don't, because there's no way they don't hear it, right? There's no way they don't hear you, like hear you being told to go put your face on and being taught that that's presentable. Like if y'all are all growing up in a household, everybody's hearing what everybody else is being told. So
Exactly. That's true. And I would say that men, I don't know if it's because they unlearn it or maybe they're just growing up in a different time. I think during like the 90s and 80s era, women didn't, I don't know if they didn't wear as much makeup as they are now with the contouring and the highlighting and all of that. But girl, like these men these days, they'll be like, "What? You ain't got your nails done? Are your toes white?" Like they checking you up and down, making sure
It was
you got
definitely
it
an option in the
together.
90s.
yeah,
Huh?
Definitely the
yeah.
opposite. Getting your nails done and stuff was definitely an option. It was not mandatory.
No, it's mandatory. I'll never forget. I went on like a date with a guy, and he was like, "Girl, what you doing walking around with your nails not done?" And my nails weren't raggedy looking; they were just natural. But he was like, "Why do you not have your nails done?"
My mom, like how you was talking about growing up, so we church in a church, and they couldn't wear makeup. I mean, it was strict. No makeup, no
David.
earrings, no red nail polish, no pants, like all of that kind of stuff. So I grew up in a household where my mom didn't wear makeup, and she had bad acne as well. And I do remember for one of her birthdays, I think it was her 60th birthday, we took her like to do a photo shoot. So she got her hair done, makeup done. And I just saw a difference. Like from that point on, it was just like, wow, I never knew I could look like this. So I definitely think it is okay, to wear makeup. But like I said, I just don't like the idea of it being tied to this is what makes me beautiful. You're beautiful already. This just enhances the beauty that I already have. And I think a lot of girls, we're raised with insecurities, like because we're always compared to the standard of beauty. And when we fall short, it's kind of like innate in us to feel like we need to wear makeup, or we need to have lashes, we need to have weave. And then it's reinforced by, like what you were saying, the attention that you get, as well. So, I can definitely see where that leads to, but I think as moms, we definitely need to do a better job. Moms and dads do a better job of instilling that self-love into our young girls, because when we don't, it does lead to seeking that attention, and many times in the negative way, from the opposite sex.
But I think men also kind of push the narrative for put that pressure on women because they're saying I don't want a woman with no makeup, but they're looking for the woman who has perfect skin. They're not looking for the woman who has hyperpigmentation around her mouth
But
or scars all over their face. They're looking for perfection. Therefore, you're telling us that's what you want. So, therefore, women are going to fall in line and they're like, well, I'm not going to let some acne stop me. So, while I'm getting this fixed, I am going to put my best self forward and cover up the flaws.
well, my thing with that is like, yeah, men can say whatever they want, but if we didn't have like like you mentioned, like you didn't have like your grandmother creating your contents, creating your self-talk, because she's the person that put that seed in your head that told you I look better or I present better when I have a little beat on. So if she wasn't already telling you that, or other young women that had to deal with that in the household, then whatever a man wants from you wouldn't necessarily mean anything to you, because you be confident within yourself enough to attract the guys that are okay with your natural face.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like we can say like, guys, want that. And yeah, it's true. Like I said earlier, like I've been a naturalista pretty much my entire life. The closest I got to wearing weaves was like getting like braids, or like, doing faux locks, because I'm a hair model. So like, like I've done that stuff, but I've never had like wigs. I've never done any of that stuff. And I've always said, like, I feel like the naturalistas are like we've always been overlooked. You know what I mean? So it's like it's always been a thing. But after a while, it's kind of like, okay, whatever. I'm not into your type of guy anyway, because you're not here for this. You're here for the facade. Like I like to get dressed up and put on a little makeup here and there every so often. Like if I'm going out too, like yeah, but I just know that that's an enhancement. And I know that like when I bring my alter ego out, you should be able to enjoy my alter ego. But when I feel like being chill in the house and when I want to just enjoy my face, I want to know that my man is attracted to me as I am, so that I won't feel insecure around him if I have to take the makeup off too. So,
Yeah.
We just got to be mindful of that too. Like, yeah, guys want that, but we want attractive men too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I
So
don't know. I feel like sometimes I'm like, why are men so pressed about makeup if she don't look that different? It's like because we can't hide our. Is it like, okay, y'all can't hide y'all skin, so y'all mad about that? Because women will take y'all how y'all look. Like,
I have a question
I
for you,
agree with that.
Taylor.
I
Oh,
want to push back on that. Like, I think, especially with this younger generation, I think the idea of we just accept men as they are is gone out the window. We have the lace front beards. We've got like these hair additions. You got guys dyeing in their little gaps. Like the dad bod just became cool a couple of years ago. I don't know. I think we are so quick to undermine the pressures of like what we're willing to accept physically from a man, that because some women are okay with it, that we just assume that like most women are going to say. I think women put that pressure on men just as much. If a man has acne, it's immediately like, oh, I don't know. I'd rather pick the guy who can hide his acne scars behind a full beard. And so,
oh,
like I think there's just as much pressure both ways. Like if you've got a man with a receding hairline, it immediately becomes the butt of the joke, right? And so I don't know. I think men face beauty standards in a different way than women do, and they have to mask it in a different way. I think they're just catching on now on the ways that they can kind of work around it the way women have for millennia.
but I feel
quick
like
question, B. Taylor. I wanted to ask you, what if your man said, "I prefer you without makeup"? Would you not wear makeup? And the reason I ask, because that was my husband. He doesn't like makeup. My son now is the same way. Like if I put on, I usually save it for special occasions, but my son be like, "Oh, mom, why you got on that makeup?" Like it's like that because my husband doesn't particularly care for makeup. So if your significant other asked you not to wear makeup, would you not wear it?
he actually has told me he likes me better with no makeup. He thinks I look actually much better without makeup. But I don't do it for him. I do it for myself. I'm not gonna I do my makeup very well. I feel like I have like it's not too much. Like I don't look, and I asked him, I said, do I look very different when I take off my makeup? And he's like, no, you don't. So I don't understand why you wear it. But I'm like, it makes me feel comfortable. It makes me feel good because I feel like I want to present my best self to society. And you're going to see me at night. I'm not sleeping with it on. I'm taking it off at night. You see me in the morning. And when we're just going out grocery shopping, you're going to see me how I look, but I do it for myself in a way because I want to put my best self forward. But I don't like when men tell women not to wear makeup. And I also feel like maybe it's how you put on your makeup, because some women will be like, oh, my man don't like me with no makeup on. And then you see their makeup and you're like, girl, it's not blended. Like, it's not blended in. It's not looking good. I can see why he say leave it alone. But I think if your makeup actually looks good, I don't think men have a problem with it. It's, as long as you're not like looking like a transformer, changing into a different person. I've seen girls where they're putting on like the what is that called? what is that, contour, and it's like super dark and like they're like looking like, drag queenish. That's, I can understand why men are saying I don't like that. But when you have like a nice little natural look to it, I don't see why men want you to walk around not looking polished. I don't know. I think I always thought that was weird to me when men, it's like, my woman can't wear makeup. It's like, what is your problem? Like,
So, have you noticed though that these days, like, I mean, I got you. I'll be real quick, Enos. Have you noticed that these days, even when the makeup isn't overdone, you can't really tell the difference between some trans women and some drag queens,
oh,
some natural women. So,
yeah.
I mean, men these days, I feel like the ones that want like natural born women tend to gravitate towards women that don't wear a lot of makeup for that reason. So, you know
Oh,
what I mean?
okay.
Like, so that's another side of it that I feel like a lot of women don't necessarily consider. But go ahead, Enos.
Yeah, I think that's a part of it. I oddly enough had this discussion with a few men not all that long ago. And to them, without really like understanding the dynamic of how women's looks are like heavily monitored, like you can't go anywhere without somebody saying something about how you look. They see it as trying to validate your natural beauty. Like their intention is to say, hey, I'm attracted to the real you. All of the stuff removed. If we were stuck on a deserted island and you couldn't bring any of this makeup with you, you are beautiful. That is that they've expressed that was their intention, not realizing the frustration it brings to women of like, this isn't for you. This is for me. This is for my self presentation. This is for all of these other reasons that have nothing to do with your attraction to me. They can't understand. There's a disconnect in why women are like, don't say that, because their intention is just to say like, hey, you are beautiful. Yes, you look great with makeup, but at the end of the day, if you don't have it, you still look beautiful. Without like, again, it's to us, we hear that criticism of how we look so much. Don't straighten your hair. Wear your hair natural. Don't wear your hair natural. You got to wear makeup. No, you're wearing too much. You're wearing it the wrong way. Your makeup is inappropriate for this occasion. Like there's so much criticism everywhere we go. The colors aren't right. The way you're doing it is from 10 years ago. Like your technique is off. It's so ridiculous that when we get home and a partner tells us you look great with that makeup, all we hear is another criticism. We're not hearing the validation that they're attempting to give us.
Yeah, I also feel too like I respect him for the most part with not wearing the makeup, but again, like B Taylor, you pointed out some things. I'll have acne, sometimes here and there, but I wouldn't necessarily say I have an acne problem. Most of my scars come from me popping pimples. Like I just can't help it. I enjoy doing it. But the flip side to that though is when I tell him what I like, he is consistent with doing it. Like I like, certain ways that he, does his beard, versus other ways. And so because I pointed out, I really like when you do your beard like this, he's consistent in doing that most of the time. Now, sometimes he'll, do his own thing, but for mostly when he does his hair, he will shape his beard the way that I like it. So in that regard, I think as women, we do the same thing to men, or I like when you wear this color, or I like when you wear these jeans, or so we'll put them together, based on what it is we attracted to and what we like, we want to see them in. And so I don't think it's anything wrong. I don't think it's necessarily a level of policing, when your mate says, I like this, do you mind doing X, Y, and Z, as opposed to it being mandatory. It's kind of like, this is a preference, and when you are in partnership, you do want to please your partner. So I don't think anything is wrong with that, but I don't think it should be mandated, like, no, you only have to cut your beard this way, or no, you can't ever wear any makeup. I think that part is,
I feel like when men try to mandate women to not wear makeup, they're purposely trying to make her not as attractive to society. Because I had a friend where she dated a guy and they got engaged, and he would tell her never to wear makeup, and she didn't, but he would constantly cheat on her with women who wore makeup and look like, and she was like, what? Like, what was the, you're trying to keep me down here, and you really are attracted to those women, but you don't want other people to be attracted to me, and you want me to have my hair pulled back and just looking basic, and then you go and run after the women that are wearing makeup and the wigs and the hair and stuff. So she was like, man, I feel so played because he was telling me one thing, but he was
But
pursuing something else.